Hello friends, welcome to a new tutorial on Java programming online course. We are going to introduce with the generics in this particular video. Generic is one of the concept which is added laterwards in JDK. It's 1.5 version onwards. The original JDK version was not available with the generics concept. This concept is having relevance with the template concept used in C++, and that is extended in Java and given a name called as generics. It would be nice if you write a single sort method that could sort elements in integer array, string array or array of any type that supports ordering. So we'll just revise the concept of overloading. In order to perform operation on different type of the data, we write different type of the methods. Okay, so one method will perform operation on integer, second method will perform operation on string, third will work on float. Okay, so to avoid this, using a generic method we can perform the operations with the help of this concepts in Java. Java generic methods and generic classes enable programmers to specify with a single method declaration a set of related methods, or with the single class declaration a set of related types respectively. Okay, all they are possible with this. Generics also provide a compile time safety that allows programmer to catch invalid types at compile time. Using Java generic script, you might write a generic method for sorting an array of objects, then invoke generic method for integer arrays, for double arrays, for string arrays, and so on, and sort that array elements accordingly. So single method will do operation on different kind of the data. That's called as generics. So generics, we are going to use three different ways by which generics can be used. The first method by which a common generic methods are used. Second method will bound these particular methods to respective type of the data, and in third method we can use the class generics. Okay, similar ways are available in C++ also. If you are aware about the same, exactly same way and same kind of syntax is used in Java's generic mechanism also. Now, how to use generics? All generic method declaration have a type parameter section delimited by angle brackets, that is greater than and less than symbol, that precedes return type of the method, like in this way: less than, e greater than. We'll see that in the next example. Each type parameter section contains one or more type of parameters separated by commas. The type parameter, also known as the type variable, is an identifier that specifies the generic type name. The type parameters can be used to declare the return type and act as a placeholder for types of arguments passed to the generic method, which is known as the actual type arguments. A generic method's body is declared like that of any other method. Note that the type parameters can represent only reference types, not the primitive types. Okay, reference type, that's what the application of wrapper classes will come here. We are not going to use int, double, or char. We are going to use integer, double, and character wrapper classes there. Let's see the example on the generics. So here in this particular class generics 1, I declare a method. Check this one. This method is named as print array, which is used to print the array on the screen. Now how to? This method is public static, so I declared it static because by using generics class name I'm going to call it directly, or this static method can be called by the static method directly without creating an object as possible. Okay, now its return type I am mentioning over here. See, this is what the return type is. Void is the return type. I am mentioning that E in the angle brackets. So E specifies the data type expected in this parameter. So what data type is there? What is the parameter it contains? E arrays, that is square brackets input array present over there. See what exactly the meaning is this. This E will represent, okay, this mentioned over here, it means that E is a generic type now. This E represents the type of the data that you pass over there. So if you are going to pass integer there, so it will represent the data in integer format. Okay, it's double, or it can be float, or it can be character parameter that we can pass over here. Okay, now so whatever type of the data you pass, integer, character, double, float, byte, short, long, whatever, okay, based on that we'll take the data and a modified version of for loop. So this for loop is enhanced in JDK 1.6 onwards. What's the meaning of this? So I'm having this input array present over here. It is containing simple data type, any integer, float, character, whatever is there. From this array, it will take one by one element in this element variable. So colon operator is used here. This is a modified version of for, remember. It is used to iterate through a collection of elements with the help of the for loop. So from this list, from this collection element array, I'll take first element and then it is used in the program or in the loop. Second element, then third element, then fourth, fifth, sixth. When till the elements are remained inside the array, it will proceed or it will perform or iterate through this particular loop and do the operation. So what I am doing over here, I am using one by one element and printing them on the screen. Okay, one function method I am using here is printf. Okay, it's C++ method, basically it's available inside the out object also. So just like %s, so string form of this element is printed over here. Okay, so whatever elements are, they will be taken here and printed. Next element print, next element print. So basically for loop requires this parameter should be declared with a data type. So whatever E I am using, whatever data type I am using, so if it is integer, so integer element will be there. If it is string, string element will be there. If it is characters, character element will be present there. And based on that, we'll print the data on the screen. Now this function, this method can be called by any type of array parameter there. How to? Let's see. So in main, I declare an array of integers, int array, which contains 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One double array which contains the 1.1, 1.2, 1.3 and 4.4. Okay, 2.2, 3.3 and 4.4. And a character array which is containing HELLO stored inside this char array. Fine. Now let's call this method over here. First of all, I'm calling this method by int array. So print array method I'm directly calling, because static method can call static method directly without creating an object, int array. So now I'm passing this integer array as parameter to it. Now make sure that I'm using generics over here. It's using a generic class. So currently the class, when you pass int array, class will be integer. So this will be integer array, this will be integer element, and that integer element will be printed on the screen in the string format like this. Now second case, if you pass double array, now in this case this E will become double. That data type will be double this one, wrapper class. And this array will be double array, and now that double element will be taken one by one, first element, second, third, fourth, fifth, and will be printed on the screen with the help of this iterative for loop. Okay, third case, character array. So character array will be like this. So again, character, first character, second, third, fourth, fifth will be printed and go on using it. So in this way, this generic method can be created. Generic method will use the data type of any category. Basically it should be of wrapper class. Total 8 wrapper classes we are available with, that is byte, long, short, integer, and character, float, double and boolean. Along with that, other objects can also be specified. Any kind of object parameter can be passed over here, and based on that, what type of the data it carries, that data we can use anywhere inside the program. So I am using E. So wherever E is written inside this code, their data type of this will be replaced, and that will be used onwards inside the code. Okay, so in this way I am using a simple single method to perform operations on different kind of the data. So here integer, double and character, 3 kind of the data I have used, and based on that the operations are performed on the given data. This is what we call as the function generics. If I run this code, see, so integer array, then double array, and then character array. Okay, so 3 different type of the array kind of array I have passed, but operation is same. But if you consider the concept of method overloading, in case of method overloading, we require to write the definition for multiple number of times. You have to specify that number of times, 3 number of times, and their parameter can be different. First parameter is integer first time, second time can be double, third time can be the float. Okay, so it is not required over here. We can have any type of the data now onwards. So we now don't have to declare this number of forms of the functions, methods in your program. This is what we refer as the generic methods. Okay, so generic methods are declared by this particular way. Now there are some more property that generics are containing. There may be, okay, let's see the bounded type parameters. There may be times when you will want to restrict the kind of types that are allowed to be passed to the type parameter. For example, a method that operates on numbers might only want to accept instances of number or its subclasses. This is bounded type parameter. And for to declare bounded type parameter, list the type of parameter's name followed by the extends keyword followed by its upper bound. Upper bounds means the class which is the super class of all. So if you write a super class, so whatever subclasses it contains will be bounded by that particular class only. Okay, Now let's see bounded type parameters, the second way in which generics can be used. Okay, so in this example I'm creating again a method, generic method here. Let's look at that. The method name is maximum. Okay, the method name is maximum. So what is written over here? So public static, here I have given the generic name as T. Previously it was E, now I have given T. Any name can be provided. Generally we provide the name. This is a just like a variable name, identifier name. You can specify and generally used in the uppercase letters. So T is the generic type I have mentioned over here. Okay, so and my method name is maximum, and 3 parameter contains, which is of same type, tx, ty and tz. Okay, and now in generics I have written this particular thing. What's that? T extends comparable. So comparable is a method. Comparable is a method which will contain the other classes which can be comparable. So what are the comparable classes are present? Only that comparable classes we can pass as parameter for T, means for the maximum instead of T. Comparable is the method. Comparable is a class whose for which the classes are applicable, which can be compared. The classes which can be compared, only that compared classes can be passed as parameter to this particular method. Okay, so 3 parameters I am using, tx, ty and tz. Okay, so what I am doing here, first parameter I am keeping in the max variable of type T. Then if y, second parameter I am comparing with y dot compare to. So compare to is a method of this particular class, and now this compare to will be applicable to all the classes which are the subclasses of it. Okay, comparable subclasses. So it will be applicable to them only. If this is not subclass of comparable, then this method will not work to it. Okay, that's what the meaning is. Y dot compare to max. So first of all, second number I am comparing with the first number. If it is greater, then keep y into max, else max will be first number as it is. Now second case, if third variable I am comparing with max, if it is comparing greater than this, then greater than 0, then we keep this z as max variable. If it is not again, then x will be the max variable. Okay, so is initially we assume x is the largest number, then comparing with y. If it is greater, then y is kept, and then compare with z. If it is greater, then z is kept. Okay, and at the end we will have the maximum variable among x, y and z. Okay, so that variable I need to return from this particular function. So return type is mentioned again here as T. Let's consider we are having the integer. Okay, integer type. So integer is comparable, means integer can be compared with integers, or float can be compared with floats. So in case of integers, this will be integer x, integer y, integer z. Return type is also integer. Okay, and it's a subclass of comparable. Okay, so that's possible. We can compare first integer to second, second to third, and we can find the maximum integer out of it. Okay, same case happened for the string class also. If you pass the strings can also be compared with the help of the compare to method. So they will work on strings also, and the maximum string we can identify from this particular method, store in the max variable and return from the respective method. Okay, so that's it. That's what we are going to make use of, bounded types, bounded to a respective class and its subclasses only. Okay, so let's see. So here I am using the first method, maximum of 3, 4 and 5. Now by default the data type of these parameters now will be integer. Okay, so 3, 4 and 5 are integers. It will be passed as parameter to it, and now the highest value will be returned by using the maximum. Same case we can apply to the double values also. These are the double values, 6.6, 8.8 and 7.7. In third case we are passing the parameter as pear, apple and orange. This is what the string classes are present there. Now let's run that, check it out. So maximum of, okay, check it out, maximum of 3, 4 and 5 is 5. Okay, 6.6, 8.8 and 7.7 is 8.8, and pear, apple and orange is pear. Okay, so this how we can make use of. Here I am using a printf function, that's why %d, %d, %d. Instead of that I need to write 3, 4 and 5. %.1f, .1f, .1f, I am writing 6.6, 8.8, 7.7. .1f means 1 decimal digits we have to print after the dot, that's why this .1 is given there. Okay, and here I am using strings. So these values will be printed and maximum of them will be identified, and based on that it also will be printed instead of this last percent dash here. Okay, that will be the peer. Okay, so this is how the operations are performed with the help of bounded types. Now here I am using the comparable classes only. So likewise we can use iterable classes also, we can use the serializable classes also. So where it's applicable, there we can bound the respective type to its data or its simple similar classes only. Okay, so this is the way second or one of the most important property that the generic classes in Java contain. The method, the class or the program is given to you along with this video. You just can try. You can change the type of the data and then check whether it's working for other comparable elements or not. Okay, so now let's go for the third type of the way by which generics can be implemented, and that's what we call as the generic classes. See, in C++ also it is possible to create the classes which are generic. Generic class declaration looks like a non-generic class declaration, except that the class name is followed by the type parameters section, which we have seen by angle brackets. As the generic methods, the type parameter section of generic class can have one or more type parameters separated by commas. These classes are known as parameterized classes or parameterized types because they accept one or more parameters there. Okay, so generic classes are also used almost in the same way that you might have seen in C++ programming language also. So let's for the generic classes. So here I declared a class box. Let's see this one, this particular part. See, so public class box. Here after the box I have mentioned the type, generic type in the angle brackets, T. Now the meaning of it is that wherever in the complete class I am referring T, that data type will be referred, a common type of the data will be referred. So when you create the object of this class, I need to specify what that T should contain, on which kind of the data the class should work. Okay, so I'll show that laterwards, but currently just consider T is a type for which the class will work. Now I am declaring first private variable T of type T. Okay, so if it is integer written here, so T will be integer, float it will be float, string it will be string. Okay, and now the first function method, that is add. Now this add method is adding the object, any kind of parameter to this variable. Add, assign this, that's what assigning, we are initializing this variable with the help of the add method, and along with that we are having one more method called as get. So this get method is just printing the respective data on the screen. How to? So public T, here get. So get return type is again same which you have passed to when you create the object of it, and return that data as the parameter, as the return value from this particular method there. Okay, that's what we have done. Now while declaring the object of the class, so let's see the object of this class is declared over here, box. In the angle brackets I need to mention the object or type of the data on which this particular class will work. So I have mentioned integer in the angle brackets, and integer box is the object of this class, is equal to new box, and again we are mentioning the type integer over here. It means that now the integer box object is created here with the data type or generic type here is T is integer. So this T will be integer. So this T will be integer, this will contain integer parameter. In add it will add it there, and get will return again integer parameter out of it. Same case if I want to create the object of this class for the string type of the data, so I'll mention string in the angle brackets like this, box string, string box is the object name equal to new box, and generic type is string. So object string box is created which will contain string parameter to all the methods of this particular object. Okay, now let's add. Now let's use integer box dot add new integer 10. So this 10 I am adding integer type data. So integer box object is created for integer type of the data. It means that now add method will only work on the integer type of the data there. Okay, and now this is 10 is integer, it will be added. So this T will be initialized with the integer 10, and after that I am using the string box which is initialized for the data type strings. So add new string hello world. So for this case T will be hello world. So since for first object t is integer, for second object t is string. Okay, that's what the dynamicity provided by the generics here in Java. Okay, that's it, that's one. And now I am going to print these values on the screen with the help of the get method. So system.out.printf, integer value %d and integer box.get. So for this case, get will return t in this type of the data. That's why I'm using %d here. And now similar object, it returns data in the form of %s, that is in the form of string. That's why I'm using %s there. Okay, so this is what we call as the class generics. So while declaring a class generic, we need to mention the generics only once after the name of the class enclosed by the angle brackets. And when you have to refer this kind of the objects anywhere in the class, we need to mention that particular data type t somewhere, or inside the methods, inside the constructors, or inside other inner classes also it is possible to mention it. Okay, so in this way the class generics are created. So what data type you require throughout the class we can mention while declaring the classes. Okay, so let's run this check and check the output of it. Okay, so integer value is 10. First case I have given the 10 in the form of integer object, and second case I have given this hello world in the form of the string object. Okay, and I got that particular output from the respective method. I'm using add to add the data, get to return this particular data. Any sort of operations are also possible inside it. Okay, so here I use the method, but method is not declared with the generics. Method is taking generics but from class generic this method is taking. I don't have to declare angle brackets here also. Okay, that's what the advantage that we can take from the class generics. So internal methods will also have the generics with the help of the class generic. Okay, and one advantage that it contains here, that data type we also can declare with the generics. Okay, when you declare the class generics, so data types can be used directly in the form of the generics and use it further for using this type of the data dynamically in the program. So this is what the generic classes are. So two basic common concepts which we have seen here, that is the generic methods and the generic classes. Generic methods take the data as per the requirement by the user, and class also takes it, and wherever we have to use this data dynamically in the code, we just can make use of generics to use this. That's what generic concept is. So if you have any doubts, you can mail us on the given mail ID, or you can contact your mentor for further queries and question solving. Thank you. Thanks a lot.